WNBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a title contending season. But the reality is the Sky are still very far from that.
Angel Reese sat down on her podcast brimming with confidence, boldly declaring that she was building a powerhouse in Chicago. But fast forward to now, and the reality looks nothing like the vision she sold. With free agency in full swing, the situation around the Chicago Sky feels more uncertain than ever. The roster still looks thin, and the league's top free agents have surveyed their options and largely taken a hard pass on Chicago, leaving big questions about whether that promised turnaround is actually taking shape.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
Not a single all-star has been convinced to join the Chicago Sky. While other franchises around the league have stacked their rosters with top-tier talent, Chicago has been left scrambling for answers and searching for direction. Free agency was supposed to be Angel Reese's opportunity to help shape a true championship-caliber squad, especially after all the recruiting buzz and connections she built over at Unrivaled. Instead, what was hyped as a turning point is starting to look more like a harsh reality check. Around the league, players have made their choices, and so far, none of those choices have pointed toward Chicago. The big question now is whether this quiet free agency period says something deeper about how the Sky are viewed and whether players truly believe in the direction Reese is trying to build. Let's take a closer look at how this off-season spiral unfolded.
The whole city is obsessed with you.
I know. I love it
all
here.
The time.
I feel like Baltimore here. I love it here. It does.
Kind of. A little bit. A little DMV action.
Yeah.
But Chicago is a number 3 market in the country.
Really?
It's New York, LA, and then Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, y'all have everything. I'm not going to lie. Y'all have everything here. Like, it's nothing here that I'm like, oh, I got to go to a different city for it. Like, everything has been here, which I love.
Angel Reese confidently proclaimed she was going to build a super team in Chicago, promising a new era of dominance. But now that free agency has arrived, the only thing the Chicago Sky appear to have built is a roster filled with uncertainty and unanswered questions. You can imagine Reese scrolling through her contacts, sending out texts, making calls, pitching her vision of a powerhouse in the Windy City. Yet each time she checks her phone, it's the same story: unread messages, polite declines, and silence where commitments were supposed to be.
Like Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, too, have brought relevance to this team that they've desperately needed in a time when, again, if not for them, they'd be completely irrelevant because of the product that they're putting on the floor.
And also make Chicago an attractive spot when you have Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso right there, two bigs that really shined in their rookie season.
You'd think that with so many top-tier free agents on the market, at least one of them would be heading to Chicago, right?
Wrong.
The silence around the Chicago Sky has been deafening. No blockbuster signings. No celebratory tweets. No championship-caliber stars packing their bags for the Windy City. Instead of a headline-grabbing offseason, it's been radio silence, leaving Angel Reese and the organization searching for answers and wondering where the grand plan unraveled.
So, lads, this is not great news, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter, it's going to be real tough to get any offensive power.
Let's look at the names that were available. Kelsey Plum, Juel Loyd, Brittney Griner, Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Satou Sabally, and Kelsey Mitchell. These are franchise-altering players, the kind who can shift a team's trajectory overnight. And how many of them seriously considered the Chicago Sky? Not one. Maybe there was still hope. Maybe Angel Reese had a surprise move lined up, something no one saw coming. But as the dominoes have fallen and the biggest names have signed elsewhere, the message feels impossible to ignore. Chicago simply wasn't a destination for elite talent this cycle. What was hyped as a bold recruiting master plan now looks less like a misstep and more like a complete offseason collapse.
So, not a good day for the Chicago Sky. Not a good day at all, because we have heard news from the journalist who reports on the WNBA, and because she is not a homer like a lot of the other people, like normally journalists are complete homers for one team. One of the actual credible journalists reported on something. Sky fans aren't happy. They all want her fired.
And to make matters worse, the Chicago Sky front office didn't exactly strengthen the pitch. Their leading scorer, Chindy Carter, reportedly didn't even receive a qualifying offer. Hardly the kind of move that signals long-term stability. The message that sent around the league felt unmistakable. Chicago may not be fully committed to retaining its own core, let alone convincing new stars to buy in. The trade rumors that swirled never materialized into anything meaningful either. Instead of bold moves or strategic additions, there was more uncertainty. And when you combine that with Angel Reese's public super team vision, it almost felt like the bigger the promise became, the faster potential free agents distanced themselves. What was meant to project confidence started to look like instability, and in a competitive free agency market, perception can change everything.
Kennedy had an incredible season for us last year, says the GM. She's extremely talented and is a player that can impact the game at the highest level in our league. We absolutely appreciate all she did for our team last year. However, we've made changes to our staff and we'll make changes to our roster. Those changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team, so we wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent.
So where does that leave Angel Reese, the supposed franchise cornerstone who is expected to help lure elite talent to Chicago? Instead of leading a newly formed super team, she may be staring at a roster filled with role players and rookies still trying to find their footing. This isn't the powerhouse vision that was talked about. It's a sharp reality check for the Chicago Sky. The offseason hasn't projected momentum or stability. It's projected uncertainty. In a competitive free agency market, top players look for clear direction, strong front office leadership, proven winning culture, and a roster that's already close to contention. If any of those elements feel shaky, hesitation follows fast. What went wrong? Was it timing? Organizational messaging? Roster instability? Perception around the league? When every major free agent surveys the market and consistently chooses other destinations, that's rarely coincidence. Let's break down the key factors that may have turned Chicago from a bold promise into a missed opportunity.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
While Angel Reese was promoting Chicago as the next great WNBA destination, the league's biggest names were busy reshaping the balance of power elsewhere. Instead of flocking to the Chicago Sky, elite free agents landed in situations offering stability, proven leadership, and legitimate championship infrastructure. According to ESPN, a blockbuster 3-team deal sent Juel Loyd from the Seattle Storm to the Las Vegas Aces, while Kelsey Plum was moved to the Los Angeles Sparks. The Storm reportedly received the number 2 pick in this year's draft from Los Angeles in exchange for their number 9 selection, while Las Vegas also picked up additional draft compensation. In other words, contenders were making aggressive, calculated moves to strengthen their cores. Start with Plum, the sharpshooter who played a pivotal role in Las Vegas' back-to-back title runs. Now she's heading to Los Angeles, instantly elevating the Sparks profile. Why LA over Chicago? Established direction. Organizational clarity. A franchise positioning itself to win now. Then there's Loyd, a Chicago native. On paper, it looked like the perfect homecoming story. If the Sky's vision was truly compelling, this could have been the headline move. Instead, she lands in Las Vegas alongside Aya Wilson, choosing a proven championship nucleus over uncertainty. While other teams operated with precision and urgency, Chicago was left watching the dominoes fall. The contrast couldn't have been clearer. Contenders acted decisively, while the Sky's grand super team narrative never materialized into reality.
According to WNBA Insider, that Illinois native Juel Loyd will not be going to Chicago Sky. And obviously, they didn't keep Kennedy Carter. And it's looking like one player, obviously, that's been like Chicago across her careers because of her Illinois roots, is Seattle Storm guard Juel Loyd.
Then there's Brittney Griner, the dominant, rim-protecting center known for changing games above the rim, now heading to the Atlanta Dream, instantly boosting a roster that's positioning itself as a serious threat. Meanwhile, Alyssa Thomas, widely recognized for her triple-double versatility, is now calling the Phoenix Mercury home. There's a clear pattern emerging. These stars didn't just bypass the Chicago sky. They gravitated toward organizations with defined leadership, structured systems, and a transparent path to winning. In a competitive league, elite players want environments where they can elevate their games and compete for titles, not navigate uncertainty or internal instability.
3 big names you gotta know: Alyssa Thomas, Natasha Cloud, Brittney Griner. Let's start with Brittney Griner, joining Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard in Atlanta. Dream team? Brittney Griner was drafted to Phoenix in 2013, so it's kind of about time, and I'm so excited to see what Atlanta turns around this next season, because they really need her. Phoenix is also losing Natasha Cloud and Beck Allen, along with the number 12 pick overall in this year's draft, to Connecticut. Connecticut is giving up the triple-double queen, Alyssa Thomas, and Ty Harris.
Speaking of Phoenix, things get even worse for Angel Reese. Not only did Alyssa Thomas land there, but she'll be teaming up with Satou Sabally, forming a dynamic duo that instantly elevates the Phoenix Mercury into serious contention. Meanwhile, while Reese was busy trying and failing to recruit, the Indiana Fever quietly executed a masterclass offseason. They added battle-tested veterans like Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sydney Colson, and Sophie Cunningham, while also poaching Brianna Turner, Reese's own former teammate, right out from under Chicago's nose. To top it all off, Indiana re-signed Kelsey Mitchell, solidifying their roster further. In a single offseason, the Fever transformed from a promising young squad into a legitimate title threat, while Chicago, under Reese's grand plans, remained stuck in place.
The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any sense.
So, what does all of this mean for Angel Reese? It means she talked a big game, but the league's real stars weren't listening. Top free agents didn't just reject the Chicago sky, they actively bolstered the rosters of teams that will now stand directly in Chicago's way. It's almost as if the elite players read the warning signs and decided to steer clear of the drama before it even started. And the hits keep coming. There's one more move that might serve as the final dagger in Reese's super team aspirations. Once boasting about building a championship contender in the Windy City, she now finds herself staring at empty lockers and unanswered texts. The dream of recruiting top-tier talent is quickly turning into a nightmare, and what was hyped as an all-star squad increasingly resembles a pickup team at the local YMCA. The reality check couldn't be harsher, and for Chicago, the offseason has been a brutal reminder that big promises don't always translate into results.
Just trying to give myself some grace because I know I'm not the player that I want to be just yet, but also kind of patting myself on the back, telling myself that I'm still doing great.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or more accurately, the glaring lack of elite resources at the Chicago Sky practice facility. Right now, their setup reportedly feels more like a high school gym compared to the cutting-edge environments other WNBA teams enjoy. While franchises like the Indiana Fever, New York Liberty, and Las Vegas Aces are training in state-of-the-art facilities designed for elite performance, the Sky are still operating in what feels like a time warp. To make matters worse, the highly anticipated new facility won't be ready until 2026, which, in a league growing as fast as the WNBA is right now, might as well be a decade away. For top-tier talent, environment matters, and on that front, Chicago is lagging far behind its competition.
Women should be able to step in and be able to go into a locker room and be able to have a safe space, or go into a gym at 3 o'clock in the morning when they want to do that. So I want to be able to just invest.
And things don't get any prettier when you look at the Chicago Sky's recent record. Remember when they were considered legitimate playoff contenders? Last season, that image came crashing down. They finished with just 13 wins against 27 losses, marking their worst campaign since 2020. And this was supposed to be the year of a generational rookie, Angel Reese, joining the squad to elevate the team. Clearly, hype alone doesn't win games, and Chicago's struggles on the court have only amplified the doubts surrounding Reese's super team promises.
It's just been great being able to see my impact on and off the court, and not just in sports, but just being able to be a cultural impact as well has just been great.
So, it's just been great being able to see my impact on and off the court, not just in sports, but culturally as well, Angel Reese said, highlighting her own influence. But behind the scenes, the situation in Chicago is far messier. Reports suggest the Sky's locker room chemistry has been as chaotic as a reality TV show, and the biggest source of drama? Reese herself. Instead of making the Chicago Sky an attractive destination for free agents, she's reportedly driving talent away faster than a bad Wi-Fi signal. Gabby Williams, whom Reese personally tried to recruit, reportedly declined flat out. Thanks, but no thanks. Even Chindi Carter, not exactly known for sugarcoating her opinions, didn't hold back before leaving Chicago, further underscoring the challenges Reese is facing in convincing players to buy into her vision.
According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
And speaking of dysfunction, the Chicago Sky front office isn't doing Reese any favors. It's been described as a revolving door, people coming and going with zero sense of stability or long-term direction. No wonder WNBA analyst Annie Costill noted that free agents are hesitant to commit to Chicago, who would willingly sign up for a situation so uncertain. So, where does that leave Angel Reese and the Sky? Not in a good place. While teams like the Indiana Fever are quietly building legitimate dynasties, Chicago struggles just to get players to answer their calls. Watching it unfold feels like a slow-motion train wreck, painful, frustrating, and impossible to ignore.
And I can't help but wonder, is that what happened here? Is Angel Reese and the way she wants to play, and I don't know if you've ever noticed her social media posts, but she's very me, always. Me. Well, you may have a player that has decided that she's had enough of that.
Angel Reese loves to boast about being the main attraction, claiming that fans tune in just to watch her. But reality has handed her a brutal wake-up call. The numbers tell a very different story. Across the league, the biggest draw isn't Reese, it's Caitlin Clark. From social media buzz to viewership spikes, Clark consistently outpaces Reese in capturing attention and engagement. In a league that thrives on star power, this contrast isn't just embarrassing, it underscores just how far Chicago's supposed superstar is from commanding the spotlight. Let's break down the stats and see exactly why Clark has emerged as the true face of the WNBA.
Throughout the year, WNBA players were demanding to be given credit for elevating the league. Angel Reese claimed that she was along with their pretend friends in the mainstream media. They wanted us to believe that the WNBA was exploding in popularity. They wanted to keep all the credit for themselves while downplaying the impact of the only star in the league, Caitlin Clark.
Picture this. Game night in Chicago. Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky take the court, but the seats are emptier than a high school study hall during summer break. TV ratings? Let's just say you have better luck finding a blockbuster hit on public access. Then the second Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever roll into town, and suddenly it's standing room only. The contrast is stark and embarrassing. Some Reese defenders might argue, she's a double-double machine, a rebounding force. True, she's dominating the boards, but when it comes to dominating attention and drawing fans, the story is very different. The Sky's attendance numbers tell a clear tale. The demand just isn't there. Not for Angel, and not for Chicago.
Well, now, jealous WNBA players will have the opportunity to earn that credit. Now, players like Angel Reese, they will be given the chance to test their star power.
And then there's Unrivaled, the much-hyped 3-on-3 league where Angel Reese was supposed to showcase her star power. Well, the numbers are in, and they're underwhelming, to say the least. Fewer than 100,000 viewers tuned in for Reese's games. Yes, you heard that right. 6 figures weren't even necessary to tally the audience. That's not a typo. The league that was pitched as a potential game changer is starting to look more like a forgettable side project, with Reese's star power failing to translate into measurable attention or impact.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest. We can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero, zip, nothing.
So, what does all of this mean for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky? The answer is simple. Pressure, lots of it. With no big-name free agents answering the call, Reese is left to back up all the hype herself. Can she truly become the face of the WNBA as she claims? Or is she destined to be staring at empty arenas, flipping through TV channels, and wondering where the audience she promised went? The next chapter for Reese and Chicago will be a harsh test of whether talk can translate into results, or if the dream of a super team was just that, a dream.
Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
Here's the cold, hard truth. Angel Reese's star power isn't filling seats. It's like trying to light up a stadium with a flashlight, not happening. Even WNBA analyst Annie Costil put it plainly. Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso have brought relevance to this team that they've desperately needed in a time when, again, if not for them, they'd be completely irrelevant because of the product that they're putting on the floor. Translation: the Chicago Sky were already struggling before Reese arrived, and her presence hasn't fundamentally changed that. Chicago needed a true superstar to turn the franchise around, and so far, Angel Reese hasn't been that player. The hype hasn't translated into wins, attention, or momentum, leaving both her and the team facing a harsh reality check.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
As free agency winds down, Angel Reese is staring down the most important season of her career. Remember when she loudly proclaimed she was building a super team in Chicago? That dream has crashed harder than one of her missed layups. No All-Stars are coming. No reinforcements are on the way. Now, she has just one option left: prove she's a true franchise player, or risk fading into irrelevance, but the bigger picture goes beyond Angel herself. The Chicago Sky free agency disaster highlights a fundamental reality in the WNBA. A single player can't build a championship team alone. It takes smart front office decisions, elite facilities, and a winning culture. Right now, Chicago is failing on all three fronts, as the new season approaches. All eyes are on the Windy City. Can Reese actually elevate the Sky, or was all that talk just empty noise? If she doesn't deliver, her WNBA career could be headed for an even bigger flop than this disastrous free agency cycle. Are you ready to watch the Angel Reese train wreck unfold? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.